and he runs a school for them. He's 16 years old. He's been labelled the youngest headmaster in the world. You may have seen this story. It's quite a remarkable story. It really moved me about the potential that we have, and this is someone who comes from a very humble background. The third story I wanted to share was a story that literally just happened over the weekend. It's a story about a young man who's recently joined our organisation, Unlimited India. His name is Mahesh, and he comes from, again, a very humble background. Ben, who's standing in the audience somewhere over there, he was actually instrumental in helping Mahesh come to work for us. Mahesh was fired on the spot from his previous job because he'd asked his manager whether it was okay for him to be paid for the day that he'd taken off to take his wife for a scan. Mahesh is 20 years old, he has a wife who is pregnant. He was fired for asking that question. Mahesh was sat in a workshop that I was running over the weekend, and Mahesh is basically he's an assistant for us. He has a pretty simple job with us, but every day he turns up absolutely so keen and energetic, and he has such a demeanour of I'm going to do something, and I'm going to do it really well. And he came up to me after my workshop and he said, I have a dream, Richard. I have a dream to help people in my community, in the slum that I live in, think bigger, think out of the box that I have been conscious that I made. Think bigger about the opportunities that are available to them. And it really moved me that not only had he got this idea, but he was so determined. You could tell it in his voice, you could tell it in the way he stood, you could tell it in his eyes, that this young man was going to do something that was going to benefit his community. So these two stories are stories that have touched me. They're stories also about individuals. And I'm not going to, the thoughts I'm going to share now are not specifically about the issues that all of you have got involved in with the Youth Ventures. They're not specifically about the subject of human rights. They're not about we should be doing this in the world. The thoughts I have are about you and me. They're about what we can do. Because with all of the issues in the world, and there's so many issues, there's only one part of the solution that we all have any control over. And that's our own actions, what you and I do. So this is not something abstract, this is something personal. We all have a choice about how we live our lives. We can be unremarkable, or we can leave a mark on the world and be remarkable. We can be reasonable. We can accept things how they are. Or we can be unreasonable and say, no, I'm not prepared to walk past that issue. We can choose not to take action, or we can choose to take action. Baba and Mahesh and all of the youth venturers that you've been working with have made that choice. And I would also point out that Baba and Mahesh and all the youth venturers you've been working with are no different from all of you. We're all human beings, we all share that human potential, but all of you guys also have something that Baba and Mahesh don't have, through no fault of your own, or through no fault of theirs, but you have incredible education that you're going through right now. You have incredible resources that you have access to, just as I do. And I would just really present to you that you have such an opportunity, such a incredible gift that you can use in the world to really make a difference. And I would challenge you to grab that opportunity. Thank you.
To Ramesh's Institute, many children, Ramesh leads education for all children, and that was one of my solutions to child labor. So when children don't go to school, their parents send them to work so that they do something in the day. So when they go to school, they can like get away from work and have time for leisure and education. And those are two human rights: right to education, right to leisure. So.
Okay. And what about you?
Mine was about housing. Me and Ramesh and the group went outside and we went to see houses, where they live, and most of them lived in the streets, and some of them were inside slums and some houses, and it was pretty sad because then the BFC would just come in and just take everything.
Away.
Yeah, take everything, put them in the garbage, and that's bad. But there's a new building which they're making for the poor, and it's still in construction. And it's where they can go in, but they'd have to pay. Yeah, they'd have to pay taxes, and they'd have a good living in there, better than outside the streets. BFC can't do
They have
anything.
to pay, so they can't really pay for that, so they continue living on the
Just
street.
catch-22, right? They can't. And what about you?
Oh, well, I focused on children with disabilities and their right to education. And so this is kind of related to Ramesh's project because access to education for most children, for most poor children, is quite hard to get. And so Ramesh is trying to raise awareness about that. And so sometimes disabled children, like whether they have a mental disability or a physical disability, public schools turn them away, simply stating that they don't have the facilities to cater to a disabled child and to properly teach a disabled child. And so I've talked about some approaches that are taking place right now and some solutions for the problem, basically.
So what are you guys doing for Ramesh?
Well,
We made a bake sale. And a bake sale, and we raised some money for him.
raise money
Yeah, because he told us that he pays for every child the supplies from his own money. So we try to help him by raising money from a bake sale.
yeah,
So now
gathered
we
some
also
books and told them to
we also made a website. It's not this one, but we also made a website.
Are you still raising?
No, that was only back to